A Winner Never Quits is a 1986 film directed by Mel Damski. It's written by Burt, Prelutsky, and we have a cast including Keith Carradine as Pete Gray. And in a moment, it is actually based on a true story, but I was a little disheartened at the beginning because at the start of the film we have some text on screen and it tells us that there was a real Pete Gray, on whom this is based of course, but it comprises fictional events. So I was disheartened because I was kind of looking at this as a source of knowledge because this was the first time I was hearing of Pete Gray. So I have to take everything in it with a pinch of salt. That being said, it's still a really interesting story. I can't take it as my main source of information, but I still enjoyed the narrative. And Pete Gray was a baseball player who lost his arm in a childhood accident, but he still dreamed of playing baseball, and it's basically about this young boy's experience of having this horrific accident, but still being encouraged to hold on to that dream of playing baseball. And obviously that's not going to be a plain sailing dream to try and achieve. And there's so much determination in this. There's so much passion, so much courage. I don't want to give away too much of the specifics of the narrative. I will be honest, there were times when it was quite slow. There were definitely moments where I was thinking, maybe we need to move the narrative forward a little bit. And it's not even so much the case that in those moments it was otherwise heartfelt or we had some good character development. Absolutely, there were times when it was like that. But there were also times when it was just slow, and that was a little bit disappointing. But not throughout the entire film, thankfully. Pete Gray as a character, really likeable, which definitely helps a lot because I wanted to get behind him emotionally and support his journey as a viewer, and I feel like that was very, very easy to do, and the baseball aspect was great. I really thoroughly enjoyed it for the most part. Yes, it was a little slow in places, but it was still a very emotional journey, and I really wanted the best for Pete Gray. And as I said, the only thing I didn't love, and I can understand why they did this, I don't love the fact that there were fictional events in this. That kind of, I don't know how many, but that kind of makes it seem like a lot of it is fictitious if they have to put a note at the beginning. Obviously, most biographical dramas will have some fictitious things. Conversations are very unlikely to be word for word what they were in reality. But by putting that note at the beginning, it makes me believe that actually a lot of it is made up for the purpose of the film. So that's my takeaway from it. If anybody knows how much of it is accurate, please feel free to let me know. But as I said, even with that in mind, it was still a great film. Let's say it wasn't based on a true story and it was just a story they made up for the purpose of the film. It wouldn't have changed the experience. It still would have been a really enjoyable, emotional, really moving film. So I don't have any real complaints about this. It's not perfect, but for the most part, I thought the experience was pretty great. And if nothing else, it did teach me about the Pete Gray, and I have done a tiny bit of reading, and I mean a few articles on Wikipedia and things, just a few things to read about his life and his career. I won't go into too much detail about that. I won't spoil it in case you want to discover that for the first time yourself. But it gave me some knowledge there, so I can't complain about that. All things considered, A Winner Never Quits is an interesting film, definitely enjoyable. And if it sounds like a story that might appeal to you, then needless to say, I'm happy to recommend it.